Hi Pisces, welcome to your mid-July reading. Okay, so you have all the charm and all the words and all the power. We know that. Even though at the end of the month, Jupiter moves back into Aquarius, you have felt what it feels like to win. You're getting used to it, you love it, you've really taken to it. So that's not really the concern in July. You're adapting very well to the power. More, what you can focus on and what becomes very apparent, especially in a few weeks, is what you choose to use that power for. If you could do anything, have anything, what would you choose to do and what would you choose to have? You may be looking around at the choices you've made in the past week or so and think, I didn't know I wanted that so much, or I didn't know that I could have that. You may have heard yourself saying, I wish I would have known I would have gotten whatever I asked for in that moment, because I asked for this and I got it, but I should have asked for something else. Knight of Wands. Lucky moments that you may feel have been wasted. Wasted on what? Wasted on whom? Well, let's take love, for example. You have this ability, Knight of Wands, to really charm anybody. Now, do you use that to meet new people, create new connections, or are you trying to win somebody back? Somebody who you already know for the most part is not good for you. What's the point in having superpowers if you don't use them properly? July will ask you this again and again in many ways. What's that sword and how should you be wielding it? To use the superpowers that Jupiter has given you to perpetuate past toxic behavior is not really, I think, what the transit had in mind. But you've also realized that Jupiter just expands anything you give it. So I think you feel like you figured out the game. Well, I'll just feed it the past and then it'll give me more of the past and that'll be fantastic. The two cards that fell on the floor are, so first we have the Justice cards, the Page of Swords, and the Three of Pentacles, and then we have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. You have figured out that whatever you give Jupiter, it will pay you dividends on. And those of you who have figured out how to do it financially are doing very well. And you're connecting and you're being very social and you're out there. Those of you who are hanging on to somebody from the past, someone that you feel you have a really deep connection with, doesn't have to be a Scorpio, you are using that golden tongued ability to basically persuade anyone into anything. You're using it to try to lure them back or pull them back into a connection. These are opposing ways to use the same power. July really wants you to use this ability in the proper way. It wants you to use it to further yourself. It wants you to move away from using this or any of your time and energy on these cups that, although maybe many in number, are just not filled with anything that you can use. You can be unsure and waste it on a past that doesn't belong to you anymore and can't be recreated anyway, or you can become quite adept at feeding Jupiter what you really want to multiply. You can become so skilled at using this energy to not only get what you want, but to attract the right connections into your life. But it comes down to choices like the one you make in July. You have to choose to want that. That doesn't just happen. You know, you're always going to have the right to choose the wrong thing for you. The choice is there. When you have all the power, it really does come down to your choices. And I think July wants to teach you through trial and error where you belong, what you really want, not what you think you want, what really feels right. And a lot of that is, you know, falling down and getting back up. So don't be afraid. But also, moving backwards is going to do nothing. And it's just such a waste. So I can see how if the options are moving backwards into something that was probably pretty icky but comfortable or familiar, whatever you want to call it, as opposed to moving forward, falling on your face, getting up, falling on your face, getting up, I can see how it might be appealing, especially to a more sentimental person, to want to go back into the icky yet familiar yet, you know, toxic thing. I can see it. But there's nowhere to go. That's putting yourself in a fishbowl. Yes, the ocean may be terrifying, but at least you're free. And the name of your reading is Fishbowl. Don't put yourself in a fishbowl by choosing to use this limitless energy on small, petty, toxic things. Love you. Hi Pisces, welcome to the second part of your reading. Okay. Wow. Especially today. A closeness. That Knight of Wands, you just want to express yourself. You know, you have all these feelings, but you have these new thoughts about why you feel the way you feel. No one goes on as exhaustive of a rant about their feelings as you can. But your feelings are always rooted in this righteousness. It's like you don't let yourself get too worked up until you know or you feel very deeply that your position is the right one. Now, this is charming, but it can also be a bit mischievous, let's say. It's the kind of passion that can talk people into things that they perhaps wouldn't do. You have the ability to create some fun within some steady connections, within some steady personalities. So if you find yourself letting loose with people who generally you thought weren't the type to have fun, that's your energy. That's what you're bringing. And it's wonderful and it's appreciated and you're seen and regarded as that warm, creative spirit that you really are. This is one of those months where you really feel that you are characterized properly and that people are appreciative of this unique energy that you bring. And they're very open about it. Just as you are keen to express your feelings, others are also earnest to express to you how you make them feel. If you're in a long-term connection, you really just want to keep building on it, working on it. No, it's not the easiest, but from the 21st onward, Three of Pentacles, Venus is in Virgo. 29th of July, you have Mars in Virgo. So this is going to help you stabilize, keep building, keep communicating, but also, especially in established connections, it heats things up a little bit. Things get a little bit spicy. Now, if there is some opportunity in your life or a person in your life that you really, really, really wanted, you have such a unique opportunity to attract them back into your life. Don't chase them, but just feel the presence of them in your life and see how it magnetizes them, because they're also feeling it. That opportunity is also feeling it. The things want to connect with you. During Jupiter retrograde here, you can catch up on a bunch of things that you have not quite perfected in terms of your supply chain when it comes to work, when it comes to how communications reach you, when it comes to your image, when it comes to, there's a bunch of people you still need to talk to and be very honest with about a few things. There's a little bit of a pileup when it comes to the emotional work that you do, this processing that you constantly do. So Jupiter retrograde is a great time to get rid of that pileup and just get through all of it. But anything that is too large of a decision, anything that would have too large of an impact on your life, you want to leave it. Now, that Ace of Pentacles and that Death card there is some innovation here in terms of work. Something that you for sure understand will redefine your work image. And it's fun and it's something different and the money is good and it gives you another kind of voice. Another way to connect. Another demographic to connect with. It's outside of your wheelhouse. It's wonderful. So this is more of that Jupiterian good luck that's finding you. Now, speaking of this emotional processing that you have to get done, that second row that we're looking at, come on down to the third row and look at that Eight of Cups. You need to tie up all these emotional loose ends, all that stuff, everything that's in those cups, right? So you spend this second week of July putting everything in those cups, and then the third week of July, you take stock of these cups and you decide that you want to walk away from these particular things. These particular things in this case being these different, I'm sorry, something just completely distracted me. These different things being these changes, these decisions, these people you need to talk to, these things you want to reinvent, these financial revisions you want to make, this new project that takes you outside of your comfort zone, all of this, the fear, anxiety that you may have around it, all of that, okay, you tie all that up and you leave it. You handle it. If you don't, you get stuck in a cycle of overthinking and anxiety and stress that can last all month and into August, and everything can become a hassle because so many of the things you have to deal with in July, if they are left until August, they become something else. And then you have to deal with them again in December, and it's such a headache. So do the work and don't take on new stuff now until you're done processing all this. And then this goes for emotional stuff too. If you know that you're still trying to process whatever you've been through This is not the time to take on something new, no matter how attractive people find you right now. And they do find you very attractive. They want to connect. Everybody wants to connect. But you connecting with yourself would be wonderful. If you were to invest in yourself, if you were to learn something new, instead of taking on things for other people, for example, instead of being a hypochondriac, learn some biology. Right? That's what I mean. Take something that you're prone to and turn it into something you can learn from. Invest in yourself. Because the more emotionally stable you are, the better everything is going to go in terms of money flowing in terms of these different connections that are made throughout the month. As long as your mood is stable and calm, every one of these connections turns into something positive, regardless of how it starts. So that's really the focus. That Magician says invest in yourself, we get it, but the focus is this Sun card, the bottom of the deck. Your happy disposition really is the key to everything. The connections and where they lead you, all of that takes care of itself. And so what do you need to maintain this disposition? Obviously, we talked about how you want to express yourself, right? You want to make these new connections. You want to have some fun. You want to put in the hard work. You're dedicated. You're passionate. If you indulge this, why wouldn't you be happy? Good? Good, good, good. Everything else will be in the extended. These beautiful rings, this is the World, this is the Empress, are available at the links below. The extended is available on Vimeo as a PayPal link and on Patreon. The first part of this reading was up days ago on Patreon. So you get the videos early, you get the extended, you get the morning motivational walks. It's all under the Pisces plus the Za tier, or you can do it without the morning walks, and then it's just the Pisces tier. It would be your early part 1, part 2, the extended, all in one place, all before you would find it on YouTube. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Oh, if you like a personal reading, there's a Cameo link below. Okay, I'll see you in the extended right now.